Okay. Okay. So everyone should have a worksheet in front of them. Does anyone not have one?
My bad, buddy.
All right. So there are two sides. There's section 1 and section 2. We're going to work on section 1. On the bottom of this sheet, you should have space to answer the question, what does it mean to be an American? We're taking a look at Germany. We're taking a look at Japan, the U.S., Britain.
Okay.
Sorry.
What's today?
Today? Today's Thursday the 12th. So we're taking a look at World War II. And we have several countries that are gearing up for war. So in that context, what does it mean to be an American? When you're thinking about the flag, what does that mean to us? When we're thinking about being patriotic?
Crazy.
Okay. Write these down on a sheet, and then we'll do a pair, and then we'll share it out with your class.
On this sheet?
Yeah, just on the very bottom. You should have space, or on the side on the margin. Good. What does it mean to be an American? Some of us have a mixed heritage. So that might kind of alter things. If you're Mexican American, if you're African American, if you're Asian American, those are going to be a little bit different. But when you think about being an American, what does that mean to you?
Are you racist?
I don't. It shouldn't take too long. Share with an elbow partner a couple ideas that you have for what it means to be an American to you. So what do you guys have for being American? All right, so you had a chance to talk with one of your elbow partners. We're talking about being an American, right? So what does it mean to you? What are some things you heard?
Our country is
What?
our country is
Sorry.
our country is independent.
Independent? We're an independent country? What does that mean?
Well, we as a people are independent, but we're not independent ourselves, like the actual country country isn't because we have many allies. Yeah, like Canada and
In Canada, have one?
Yeah.
I think we would say we're an ally with Canada.
maybe neighbors.
Well, when you're neighbors with another country,
You have to be allies and
you don't have to be allies, of course not. And we learned that through World War I, and we're gonna see that again in World War II. But when you are an ally with a country, or you're neighbors with a country, doesn't that opportunity give you the opportunity for some other things? What are some kind of economic impact of being an ally? What's that?
Trade.
Trade? Cool, good. What else do we hear about being an American? What does it mean to us? Good.
You live in a powerful country.
You just can't just feel pretty good about yourself for being here. I mean, kind of makes me feel like we're pretty powerful. You can go overseas, and if you're an American, people look at you just a little differently. Some people travel with the Canadian flag on their gear instead of the U.S. flag. Most of that's just because not how they have the difficult conversation.
I've always wondered, whenever I see like movies or something, whenever I see like soldiers, the flag is backwards.
What do you
Right.
know? Which shore is the flag?
What? I don't know.
Okay. If it was the left, we would look at it, and it would look like the flag is going in it. I think they usually won't see it on this one, and so it looks backwards. Right, with the stars on the corner. And it's got the stars. You did on the left, why are they? Perspective? So like if you look at it, it was, what? Think about that flag right there, and where the pole is attached to that flag. Right? So if it's on your body, you're kind of imagining that flag being on a flagpole. Right? So if you're moving forward, the flag can be whooshing behind you, right? I think that's what it is. Okay. So, is there any room, can a person be more American than someone else? I hear three answers. Where do you go? Can someone be more patriotic than another person? Sorry, go ahead.
Patriotism is basically a view of your own beliefs and how you guys in your country could like asking from one Christian, you know, Christian with another.
Sure.
So you're not questioning belief system.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I
Is
could,
this more personal?
yeah, it's just one thing. I mean, I wrote down that he's not really American. He's straight to a land home. It's called America. So you live in America, therefore you're American.
Okay. So, when you consider that nationalism, that's what we're talking about, right? The nationalism, there's less weight for that for you. Does anyone have a different view on that?
Wait, well, do you mean like being American and being like patriotic? Because I mean, like, some people are more patriotic than others. Like, I don't think American.
Right?
I don't really care.
Right. I'm American by default. Like, I don't really believe in what our government's doing, maybe, or the way that the capitalist system that we have. They're different things. Yes, absolutely. One person, I think, as well, that one person can be more patriotic than another, but by default, we can both be American. So, how does it feel then? Does that mean that we're just American, and you can't be more American than another, so you can be more patriotic? any more American than someone who's not American. Well, sure. So, what about a naturalized citizen? Someone who was born in another country, defined by someone else's boundaries, like a alien. What if they come to America? And they become something less American?
No.
I mean, they have no rights there. They can't become president or something. That one, yeah. You know, like I said, you can't be president if you were not born on American soil. There's some caveat to that. If you're born on an embassy somewhere else in the technically can't be born on American soil. There's some language on that. So, if we're thinking about patriotism, and we know that some people can be more patriotic than others, can we then understand when the country isn't doing well economically? We learned about that this week, right? We kind of lead up to the Nazi Party, how Hitler rose to power because he was what? What was it that he was making promises to people there? Yeah. Okay. So let's think about this. I think you guys are old enough to think about President Obama's election campaign, right? What were some of his slogans? Do you remember?
Yes.
What was that? Hope. Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can is one. Choice was another one. But I was hoping to hear hope, hoping for hope, because when the economy's not doing well, they're going to start to listen to people who can make these promises and give you a little bit of hope, right? And through that, you can become kind of fervently patriotic, like gung ho. Or it's like, yeah, this is how America's supposed to be. Or in Germany, they started to hate people that weren't a certain way, that didn't look a certain way. Okay. Today we're going to work on the worksheet that you have in front of you. This is going to be chapter 16, section 1. You'll need to use your book for this. If you open up to page 491. Does anyone need a book?
Okay.
491. Looking on the worksheet that you have in front of you, can somebody read the title? There's a little bit of light for it. Hitler's Lightning. Okay. Can somebody read the directions on the worksheet for us?
All of the local order is usually about for the North Africa and the questions about the timeline.
Okay, great. So, judging by the title, Hitler's Lightning War, that should kind of narrow our focus down. We're going to be studying who? And what do you think the Lightning War is?
Started out with
Okay. Should be last one for sure. And then, looking at the directions. What do they have to do with the worksheet? Okay. We're going to follow the chronological order. Does anyone not know what that is? Who can tell us what chronological is? Good.
Chronological is from the early days to the late days.
Okay, great. and we're going to be studying what area?
What page?
You should be on page 491. So I'm sorry, what area are we studying on this worksheet?
America?
39 to 41.
Those are the years, the chronological years, the time. What area of the world are we studying? Okay. If we reread the directions, it'll tell us exactly which area.
Europe.
Europe and? Okay, great. So when I get a worksheet, those are things I'm looking for. I want to see what the title is. That's going to tell me what my focus should be in the reading. And then obviously with the directions, that tells me what I should be doing on this worksheet, right? Now some things that I do on top of that is I want to look at the timeline. Like Abel pointed out, it's going to be 1939 all the way down to what year? 1941, that's right. And we see that there's some information that's next to that timeline. Who can read those for us? So in August, what does it tell us on the side there? Okay. Can we see the arrow that's kind of pointing up towards question 1? Yeah, go ahead and read that out loud. Okay. So I usually will read that to myself and say, okay, well, let's go back to August. Hitler installed us on a non-aggression pact. All right. What did each leader gain from the secret agreement? Okay. So I can go down to the next spot where it says September. Who can read that one for us? Say again? Great. And then that looks like that's attached to which question? Great. Number 2, what strategy did Hitler use to conquer Poland? Okay, so Hitler is invading Poland. What strategy did Hitler use to conquer Poland? So on the board, can somebody start reading for us on 491? And then as we're reading, we're gonna be thinking and listening for the answers to the questions that we just read for that first section. Can somebody read out loud for us, please? Go ahead. Sorry? Say it sure. Yes.
During the 1980s, Hitler set on both considered that we were during the Nazi. Each time the Nazi declared grabbing territory, he would declare an end to his domain. Peace seemed guaranteed until Hitler moved again. After he moved into the Ireland, Austria, and Slovakia, Hitler turned to the eyes of Poland. After World War I, the Allies had cut out the Polish corridor from German territory to give Poland access to the sea. In 1939, Hitler demanded that the Polish corridor be returned to Germany. German parts of the Union. At this point, as you recall from chapter 16, Soviet dictator Joseph Stalin signed the conference. Stalin was not eager to join the West. Also, Hitler had promised him territory. In the secret part of the past, Germany and the Soviet Union agreed to divide Poland between them. They also agreed that the USSR could take over Finland and the Baltic countries of Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia.
Do we find an answer in that first little section to the question 1? Next, what's the answer there to the question 1? Go ahead.
Hitler promised, Stalin,
Let's take the question, number 1 again. Read that out loud for us.
what did each leader gain from the secret?
So they're talking about that non-aggression pact, that was the secret agreement. And from the reading, what do we gain from, or what does Hitler gain?
Both of them gain territory,
They're both looking for territory?
and they're, well, they, like, from the agreement, if it goes as planned, then they can use it.
Okay. I'm sorry?
They divide gold.
They divide Poland?
Like, Russia gets, or USSR, gets the three Baltic countries.
Okay, great, those are great answers. So let's see. I'm gonna use H for Hitler. So what does Hitler gain?
Territory.
Territory, where at? Okay. Does Hitler gain anything else from that pact?
Crop,
What? I was thinking
agriculture.
agriculture, so he's gonna gain some land to grow food for Germans. Okay, that might be part of it. Was that something that we got from the meeting?
No,
Or is that something that we know before?
No video.
From the video? Okay, that's okay. But what precisely do we get from the reading?
Maybe a gun.
Maybe. I'm not sure that we see that in the reading. Did anyone else see that in the reading? That may be, but we're trying to see the information that we get from here. Go ahead.
the Soviet Union divided it, so the Soviet Union has full.
Okay, so that would be, what's your leader's name of? Stalin? Okay, so that's for Stalin. So he also got territory, right? They split up Poland? Okay. Anything else?
So, what is USSR, Soviet Union?
Yeah.
Alright, then they get to take over Finland and the Baltic countries.
Okay. The Baltic countries? So you see the area that's Czechoslovakia, Austria, Hungary? If you look at the map on page 492, the question was, where are the Baltic countries? Can anyone name the Baltic countries?
Lithuania, Latvia, or however you say that, and then Estonia.
Those are areas that Russia's going to take over and form the USSR.
Oh, yeah.
But those are considered Baltic countries. Do you remember?
Like the Baltic. But, isn't there like, yeah, Sweden, Norway, and Denmark. Finland. No. Yeah, Norway, Denmark. Oh, I went there.
Yeah. Read it.
No.
Of course not. That's good. Who wants to continue reading? Who wants to continue reading where Haley left off?
I don't know, where did she leave
You
off?
maybe.
German lightning attack. After signing this non-aggression pact, Hitler quickly moved ahead with plans to conquer Poland. His surprise attack took place at dawn on September 1st, 1939. German tanks and troop trucks rumbled across the Polish border. At the same time, German aircraft and artillery began a merciless bombing of Poland's capital, Warsaw. Did I say Portland?
You did.
Poland.
I think we understood. Right.
France and Great Britain declared war on Germany on September 3rd, but Poland fell sometime where the nation could make any military response. After his victory, Hitler annexed the western half of Poland. That region had a large German population. The German invasion of Poland was the first test of Germany's newest military strategy, the Blitzkrieg, or lightning war. It involved using fast-moving airplanes and tanks, followed by massive infantry forces to take enemy defenders by surprise and quickly overwhelm them. In the case of Poland, the strategy worked.
Nice. So, let's stop right there just for a quick second. It says under September, Hitler invades Poland. What strategies did Hitler use to conquer Poland? Did we catch that answer? Okay, go ahead. Okay, what does that translate to? Like, money? Good. What was it? The Blitzkrieg is what? Lightning war. Okay. So what is the strategy of the Blitzkrieg or the lightning war? What does that include?
Using fast-moving airplanes and tanks, followed by massive infantry forces to take enemy defenders by surprise and quickly overwhelm them.
Okay.
Unquote.
Thank you. Okay. So a good answer for number 2. The Blitzkrieg. And then telling us what that was. Fast moving. What else does it say besides fast moving weapons?
Massive.
Okay. Okay, cool. Good. All right. So then, if we continue down the timeline, under 1940 in April, who can read that timeline spot? Hitler invades Denmark and Norway. And which question does that correspond to?
What was Hitler's plan for conquering?
Conquering France. Okay, great. Let's continue reading. And see where we find the answer to number 3. Who wants to continue reading out loud for us? Go ahead. Thank you.
On September 17th, Stalin sent Soviet troops to occupy the eastern half of Poland. Stalin then moved to France countries to the north of Poland. Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia followed had several threats to move this country. In November, Stalin sent nearly 1 million Soviet troops into Finland. The Soviets were expected to win this victory, but they were not prepared for winter fighting. This was brutal. The students were outnumbered and outgunned, but bravely defended their country. In the freezing winter weather, soldiers on ski swiftly attacked Soviet positions. In contrast, the Soviets struggled to make progress during the deep fight. The Soviets suffered heavy losses, but they finally won through sheer force of numbers. By March 1940, Stalin had forced the Olympics by returned.
Okay. Thank you. Did we hear anything about Hitler's plans for conquering France?
No.
No? Nothing there? Okay. Samantha, would you continue reading? Thank you.
After they declared war on Germany, the French and British had mobilized their armies. They stationed their troops along the Maginot Line at the Semaphore station along the French border with Germany. There they waited for the Germans to attack, but nothing happened. With little to do, the bored Allied soldiers started eastward toward the enemy. Equally bored, German soldiers
Their Saxon neighbors held line 3 miles away. The Germans jokingly called it the birthplace of the city war. Some newspapers referred to it as the communist. Suddenly, on April 9, 1940, the calm ended. Hitler launched a surprise invasion of Denmark and Norway. In just 4 hours after the attack, Denmark passed. 2 months later, Norway surrendered as well. So the Germans then began to get a big into the Norwegian and Danish coast.
Great. So let's see. We read that Hitler did invade, but he invaded Denmark and Norway. Does that give us any information on number 3? Still searching, okay. Spencer, do you want to continue reading, or should we pass it off to someone else? All right. You have another volunteer, please. Go ahead. You have a question? Okay.
Why is the Soviet Union and Germany not in that? Like, I thought they were fighting like Germany.
Allies? Yeah. So that's a great question. Now,
That's what we thought in World War II was Soviet.
we did. And what we just read was a secret pact that Stalin made with Hitler that we didn't know about. The United States didn't know about that at the time. We had a pact that they were trying to buy land that other countries felt like they lost and they wanted to go. The question gets a little bit bigger because, the United States, or Britain in this case, the United States is still trying to stay out of it, but Britain in this case is trying to be sure that Russia is in a good place. It's actually maybe allies somewhere. Germany attacked Russia. Germany attacked Russia? Yeah.
Oh, somebody right there.
They do like the alliance, right? No, I think I'll start with the next question. That's a great question. We're going to find out really quickly that Germany does invade Russia. That's a good one. That's a good time. So that's why I will continue reading for us. We're at the fall of France. Who wants to read for us? Thank you very much, Jeff.
In May of 1940, Hitler began a dramatic sweep through the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg. This was part of a strategy to strike at France. Keeping the Allies' attention on this country, Hitler then sent an even larger force of tanks and troops to slice through the Ardennes. This was a heavily wooded area in northern France, Luxembourg, and Belgium. Moving through the forest, the Germans squeezed through the Maginot Line. From there, they moved across France and reached the country's northern coast in 10 days.
Okay. So let's stop just for a quick second. Did we find out anything about the plan? Hitler's plan to conquer France? Okay. So who can give us an idea what that is?
To squeeze past the Maginot Line.
Right. To confuse the Allies? What did he do to confuse the Allies?
He attacked the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg before him on the killing of going to them.
Right. So one of the Allies would think that Hitler wanted the Allies to think that he was going north to those countries rather than going back towards France. Everyone expected Germany to invade France. He went the other direction. So yeah, he was trying to be sneaky about the Allies. So what would you write in the box for 3? What did you guys write down for 3?
I said they tried French allies with people running in Congress in the air. Frank was in the
Number three? Is that what everyone got? Someone have something different? Yes, go ahead.
I wrote down first they did the sitting war, where they waited and waited. And then, as a surprise, they attacked, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg, and sent, a large army, and,
Okay. Then they attack. Does that answer pretty well the question three? I just put and for North. See what North? If you look at the map on 492, you can kind of see where Germany is at in relation to Norway, Sweden, some of the other countries that we just read about. Netherlands is going to be just west, or if we're looking at the map, that's going to be to the west. And then we see that France is west, and then just south a little. Okay. You want to continue reading?
sure.
Great.
Rescue at Dunkirk.
Thank you.
After reaching the French coast, the German forces swung north again and joined the German troops in Belgium. By the end of May 1940, the Germans had tracked the Allied forces around the northern French city of Lille. Outnumbered, outgunned, and pounded from the air, the Allies retreated to the beaches of Dunkirk, a French port city near the Belgian border. They were attacked with their backs to the sea. In one of the most heroic acts of the war, Great Britain set out to rescue the army. It sent a fleet of about 850 ships across the English Channel to Dunkirk, along with Royal Navy ships, civilian craft, yachts, lifeboats, motorboats, tidal steamers, and fishing boats, joined the rescue effort. From May 26th to June 4th, this amateur armada, under heavy fire from the German bombers, sailed back and forth from Britain to Dunkirk. The boats carried some 338,000 battle wearers over to safety.
Wow. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Okay, so did we take a look at question 4? What's that question? Okay, what happened in Dunkirk? Did we get the answer on that? Yeah. Okay. See if we have another voice to give us the info on number 4. What would you put down in that box for number 4? What do you put down for number 4?
The British moved back and forth yesterday, they had 338,000 soldiers from
Okay. Where is Dunkirk?
on the coast.
On the coast of which country? Right, okay. So that might be important. Dunkirk, the beach, town, in France? Okay. So the British soldiers were what at Dunkirk? Why they retreated to the beach of Dunkirk? Okay, so they got pushed back by the Germans. How are they rescued? How many troops were there? 338. 38,000 troops. Okay. So it sounds like there was a pretty good effort from not only the military, but who else? If you're not in the military, what are you? Civilian, yeah. The civilian vessels, civilian boats of all kinds, help ferry all those troops back over the English Channel, right? Back to England. And how long did it take?
does this very quickly, and dates aren't super important, but did you go? You want to say that again?
8 days.
May twenty-sixth.
Yeah, right? How many days?
8 days.
8 days. So in 8 days, 850 troops, or, vessels, boats, carry 338,000 troops across. It's pretty amazing. A lot of fun. Do you want to continue reading, or should we let someone else?
I'll read the battle of Britain.
Okay. Let's see, what's the question, though, that corresponds to that? What's the next question on our timeline? What was the outcome of the battle of Nicaea? Okay.
Following Dunkirk, resistance in France began to crumble. By June 14th, Germany was taken. Accepting to be inevitable, French leaders surrendered on June 22nd, 1940. The Germans took control of the northern part of the country. They left the southern part to a puppet government headed by Marshal Philippe Pétain, a French hero from World War I. The headquarters of this government was in the city of Vichy. After France fell, Charles de Gaulle, a French general, set up a government in exile in London. He committed all his energy to reconquering France. In a radio broadcast from England, de Gaulle called on the people of France to join him in resisting the Germans.
Go ahead and read that quote.
It is the bounden duty of all Frenchmen who still bear arms to continue the struggle, for them to lay down their arms, to evacuate any position of German territory, or agree to hand over any part of French territory, however small, to enemy control would be a crime against our country. De Gaulle went on to organize the Free French military forces that battled the Nazis until France was liberated in 1944.
So let's see. The question again, number 5 was what?
What was the outcome of the Battle of Britain?
Okay. So have we heard yet what the outcome of the Battle of Britain is? No? Okay. What's the next header in the book, in the text?
The Battle of Britain.
The Battle of Britain. Okay, great. So we'll probably need to, let's look, one of the biggest clues we've had yet about getting some information from the text, right? Does someone want to continue reading? Thank you.
Winston Churchill, the new British Prime Minister, had already declared his nation would never give in. A rousing speech, he proclaimed, "We shall fight on the beaches, we shall fight on the land and ground, we shall fight in the fields and in the streets, we shall never surrender." Hitler now turned his mind to an invasion of Great Britain. His plan was to first knockout the Royal Air Force, and then to land more than 250,000 soldiers on England's shore. In the summer of 1940, Germany's Air Force began bombing Great Britain. At first, the Germans targeted British airfields and aircraft factories. Then, September 7, 1940, they began focusing on the city, especially London. To break British morale, the RAF, although badly outnumbered, began to hit back hard. Two technological devices helped turn the tide in the RAF's favor. One was an electronic tracking system known as radar, developed in the late 1930s. Radar could tell the number, speed, and direction of incoming warplanes. The other device was German code-making machine named Enigma. A complete Enigma machine had been smuggled into Great Britain in the late 1930s. Enigma enabled the code German secret messages. The information gathered by these devices, RAF soldiers could quickly launch attacks on the enemy. To avoid RAF attacks, the Germans gave up daylight raids in October 1940 in favor of night bombing. At sunset, the wail of sirens filled the air as the Londoners collectively heavily serviced area areas. Some roads on the bombing range homes similar air raid shelters or basements. This battle of Britain continued until May 10, 1941. Stunned by British resistance, Hitler decided to call off his attack. Instead focused on the Mediterranean and Eastern Europe. The Battle of Britain taught the Allies a crucial lesson: Hitler's attacks could not be blocked. Could be blocked.
Could be blocked, yeah, great, okay. So, did we find out the answer then, to the outcome of the Battle of Britain? Yeah?
Hitler, like, stopped attacking him.
Why?
Britain was, like, resistant.
Britain was resistant? Okay. Yeah. They were definitely resistant. So what would you answer? What would you put in the answer there for number 5? How should I write it?
The Londoners had better technology so they could tell when the bombing was going to happen.
Can I call one of those to say the British? Okay.
That's the outcome, though.
It kind of led to it, right? So what do you think, if that's leading to the outcome, what do you think the outcome is?
Hitler stopped attacking the British after they kept on resisting.
He does that? Okay. So, let's see, the British,
Prevented
yeah, I like that.
The Germans gave up because the British didn't like quit because of their resistance.
Okay. Germans stopped the attack. Because what?
British resistance.
Can we agree on that answer? Yeah. That's cool. Is there anyone else who wants to read? Or should we invite Zane to continue for us?
Alright.
George, great.
The stubborn resistance of the British in the Battle of Britain caused a shift in Hitler's strategy in Europe. He decided to deal with Great Britain later. He then turned his attention east to the Mediterranean area and the Black Balkans, and to the ultimate rise of the
Remember your question from earlier about Russia being an ally? So, we also know from the reading that Stalin and Hitler signed a secret pact, right? So now all of a sudden we're reading that Hitler actually wants to attack the Soviet Union. And what's that going to do to that pact? It'll break the pact, right? Cool. Thank you. We continue.
Germany first rejected the Mediterranean region was North Africa, mainly because of Hitler's partner, Mussolini.
Mussolini, yeah.
Despite alliance with Germany, Italy had remained neutral at the beginning of the war. With Hitler's conquest of France, however, Mussolini knew he had to take action. After declaring war on France and Great Britain, Mussolini moved to France.
What do we know about Italy from World War I? Can it be something similar? Remember? At the end of the war?
Didn't they switch sides?
Right, yeah. Remember they switched sides? They were allied with Germany. But then they switched to ally themselves with the Allies. So, doesn't it kind of sound like they're doing the same thing here? We just heard that Italy was trying to remain neutral, even though they had an agreement with Germany. They wanted to kind of see how things played out a little bit. But once Germany was able to conquer France, which I think was kind of interesting. You want to continue this part?
Mussolini's his next step in North Africa in December 1940 when the Battle of Britain was raging. He ordered his army to attack British controlled Egypt. Slaves and now was key to reaching the oil fields of the Middle East. Within a week, Italian troops had pushed 15 miles inside Egypt, forcing British units back. Then both sides dug in the
Let's see. Which question are we on that worksheet?
So,
Who can read that for us?
what was it?
Read it so we can hear.
The question?
Yes.
What was the outcome of the fighting at Toba?
Okay. Let's see. Have we heard anything yet about Tobruk? Let's continue reading. Let's see what we can find out about this place. You want to continue, or should we ask someone else to? All right. Who wants to read next? Who wants to tell us about Britain striking back? Oh, I love reading, but I want to hear some voices from the class.
You should do the textbook section.
I should. I'm going to be eating a lot of popcorn this weekend. Page 494. Bottom 494, Britain strikes back. You read what?
Finally, in December, the British struck back. The result was a disaster from the Italians. But February 1940, and taken 130,000 Italian prisoners. Hitler had stepped in to save his Axis partner. To reinforce the Italians, Hitler sent a crack German tank force. The Africa Corps, under the command of General Erwin Rommel, in late March 1941, Rommel's African Corps attacked Prague. Dutch fired British forces retreated against Tobruk, Libya. After fierce fighting for Tobruk, the British began to drive Rommel back. By mid-January 1942, Rommel had retreated to where he had started by June 1942. The tide of battle turned again. Rommel regrouped, pushed the British back against the desert and changed the way. The shattered loss of their allies, Rommel's success in North Africa earned him the nickname death.
Thank you. What was the outcome of the fight in Tobruk?
The Axis one.
I'm sorry?
The Axis one.
The Axis one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they're called.
Yeah. The Germans, the Italians,
Yeah.
the Axis?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the start of it. That's kind of the first part of that battle. What was the ending of that battle? Did the Axis countries hang on to that territory that they won?
Yeah. No. Wait.
No.
No? So the Axis, it's Tobruk? Tobruk?
Yeah.
Alright. So the Axis was Tobruk. Is that what it starts at? Michael, will you read the very top of page 495? Let's read that part again.
After fierce fighting for Tobruk, the British began to drive Rommel back. By mid-January 1942, Rommel had retreated to where he had started. By June 1942, the tide of battle turned again. Rommel regrouped, pushed the British back across the desert, and seized Detroit. A shattering loss for the Allies. Rommel's successes in North Africa earned him the nickname Desert.
It's sufficient. Question 6. Is there anything that we could add to it? Is there any additional information that we should put there? Because I mean,
It's just went from the British.
from the British? So I could just add from the British?
Yeah, like a big one, a battle against.
Sorry?
A shattering victory, whatever, peace, something.
So a shattering victory? Against the British?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the axis of Germany and Italy?
Yes. Yeah. If you look at that map, the map on 492, you can see the key, it shows the Axis nations, and then the Allies are in green. The purple is what's signifying the Axis nations, and then the light purple is the Axis-controlled countries. Now, during the reading, it said that we could take a look at a map on page 489. If you look on page 489, you can see where Italy is, kind of in the center of the map, right? And then do you see where Tobruk is? What country was that? Libya. Cool. All right, so we're almost done here. Number 7, who can read question 7 to us? Okay. Looks like that is connected directly to the timeline where it says June of 1941. Hitler invades the Soviet Union. Have we read anything about that yet? All right, so who's going to help us continue reading? Thank you.
With the Balkans firmly in control, that we're going to go ahead with the operation Barbarossa. His plan to invade the Soviet Union. Early in the morning of June 22nd, 1941, the war of German tanks and aircraft announced the beginning of the invasion. The Soviet Union was not prepared for this attack. Although it had the largest army in the world, its troops were neither well equipped nor well trained. The invasion rolled on week after week until the Germans had just 500 miles. As the Soviet troops retreated, they burned and destroyed everything the enemy tapped. The Russians had used this scorched earth strategy against Napoleon. On September 8th, German forces pulled Leningrad under siege. By early November, the city was completely cut off from the rest of the Soviet Union. The forces surrendered. Hitler was ready to starve the city's more than 2.5 million inhabitants. German bombs destroyed warehouses with food was stored. Desperately hungry, people began eating cattle and horse meat, as well as cats and dogs, and finally cows and rats. Nearly 1 million people died in Leningrad during the winter of 1941 and 1942. Yet the city refused to fall.
Try just finishing up that last question on the top of it.
Basically, progress on Leningrad, Hitler looked to Moscow, capital and heart of the Soviet Union. The Nazi drive on the capital began on October 2nd, 1941. By December, the Germans had advanced to the outskirts of Moscow. Soviet General Georgy Zhukov counterattacked.
As Kaiser style, the Germans in summer uniforms retreated. Ignoring Napoleon's winter defeat 130 years before, Hitler sent his generals with stunning orders, no retreat. German troops came about 125 miles west of Moscow. They held the line against the Soviets until March 1943. The orders advanced on the Soviet Union gained nothing but conflict. The Germans 500,000 miles.
Okay. So how did Hitler's invasion compare with Napoleon's invasion of Russia? Is there anything that we would add to the scorched earth strategy? What do we know about the time of year?
Well, Napoleon attacked Russia, in the winter, and it's really cold, and Hitler did the same thing,
Okay.
and it was really
Scorched earth. Is that right? Scorched earth?
Wait, who is using scorched earth?
Is there anything else that we should put in here? I think that's exactly what the book says. Thank you guys very much. Did everyone get 1 through 7 filled out in their sheet? Yeah. Great. So when we're doing worksheets, when we're reading, keep in mind that you want to keep going back to the question, so the question is fresh in your mind as you continue reading. When you do the reading, the answers just kind of float up for you. Thank you guys very much for trying that. Take 5 minutes. But get out of your seat and stretch a little bit.
Is it like regular tutorial?